Well, good evening, everyone. It's 7 o'clock, time for us to call this to order. So I call to order the Town Central regular council meeting Monday, March 9th, 2026. I will, this evening, there's a few things here on the agenda that are new because we have voted them in and things like that, so we will be working our way through that. I would ask that if you would like to participate, that you stand for our invocation. Oh God, we give you thanks that we are able to come and do this work for the town that you have called us. We come from many places, many different paths, and roads, and areas, but we are all one when we work together for the town. We ask that you would give us wisdom and insight and allow us to do all that we can to make this continue to be the great place it is to live. In your name we pray. Amen. We're ask you to remain standing, please, for the Pledge of Allegiance. And I've asked Mr. Peak, who is a veteran, to lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance.
If y'all would recite with me, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And also, before you're seated, we voted in to be a part of the South Carolina Municipal Association's civility emphasis, and so we will begin all of our council meetings with the Pledge of Civility. And this is for everyone that's in attendance. So if you would, read with me. I pledge to build a stronger and more prosperous community by advocating for civil engagement, respecting others and their viewpoints, and finding solutions for the betterment of my town. Thanks. You may be seated. We have some people that are resource people that are here tonight, and so I want to give them opportunity for us to recognize them. One of those is the manager of Walmart, and also because of some of our resource people, if you have your agenda and are following along, I would like to move agenda item 9 up to number 3. And I would like to also allow Mr. Salem to speak before we have public session. So I make a motion that we agenda amended by allowing Alex Salem to speak before public session, and that we simply move item 9 on the agenda up to number 3.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of that, please raise your right hand. If you're opposed, thank you. Next item on the agenda is an amazing thing that we have to tell for the town. And I'm going to ask our police chief if he would come forward at this time. If he'll come just to the front and stand. And do you want to bring in Officer Stilling and Nico at this?
If you will allow him a few minutes.
Okay. One of the things when I was running for mayor was that we have great stories in this town and they need to be told. And this is a great story. that needs to be told, and so we will do this. So, and it involves our K-9 officer and our K-9 Nico, and he's younger, so he's in kennel, and they will get him, and then I will read this letter of commendation that we want to give. Oh, stand right here. Just stand right there. So there's a letter of commendation to Officer Stalline and our K-9 Nico. On January the 2nd, 2026, our agency received critical information regarding a note left at a residence by a 41-year-old female expressing intent to harm herself. Subsequent investigative efforts determined that her cellular phone last registered a signal in the Mall Bridge Road area before being powered off. Continued investigation in that vicinity resulted in the discovery of her vehicle. However, the female was not located in or around it. Recognizing the urgency and gravity of the situation, Officer Stalline, accompanied by K-9 Nico and Pickens County Sheriff Officer Deputy, initiated a K-9 track of the surrounding terrain in an effort to locate the missing individual. After tracking approximately 1.5 miles, Officer Stalline and K-9 Nico successfully located the female down a ravine. She was found unconscious but breathing. Demonstrating exceptional professionalism, situational awareness, and dedication to duty, Officer Stalline and the assisting PCSO deputy were able to safely move the female to an accessible location, allowing emergency medical services to render immediate medical care. Through their keen observations, astuteness, and swift decisive actions, Officer Stalline and K-9 Nico and the PCSO deputy likely saved this individual's life. Their actions reflect the highest standards of law enforcement service, exemplify unwavering commitment to the preservation of life and the safety of the community. With the issuance of this letter of commendation, I hereby formally recognize Officer Stalline and K-9 Nico for their outstanding performance, exemplary service, and dedication to duty during this incident. We thank you for your honorable service. I make this a letter of commendation in the form of a motion from our council so that it can be entered into our minutes.
Second.
All those in favor of this letter of commendation to Officer Stalline and to Nico, please raise your right hand to say yes. Opposed, no. It's unanimous. Mr. Moss, who is committee chair for our public safety, I'm going to ask you to come down front. And here is your, we have the certificate made for Nico as well. It's yours. You can take it. We're all good? Again, thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Chief, thank you as well for your great leadership. When he leaves, you can clap if you want to, but let's just let him just walk.
Yeah.
We live in a good place. We have good people. Thank God. So next on our agenda is Alex Salem, who is the manager of Walmart. We've invited him to come. If you might would please come to the podium here and as many of you know, Walmart is undergoing a major renovation, so I've asked him if he would come and just highlight that renovation for us.
Yes, hello everybody. My name is Alex Salem. I'm the store manager here at the Walmart Central, and I have been for 3 years. I just want to start off by saying I appreciate the time today. My store and I are so grateful to be a part of this community, and Central welcomed Walmart 20 years ago. And I recognize that when I came into this store, and I do want to start off before I talk about what we're doing for a remodel. I made it a goal to connect with this community and make sure all of my funds from the store go to Central. Because prior to my leadership, we had funds going throughout South Carolina, some of the upstate towards Greenville. All the money has gone towards Central, and I plan on keeping it that way. This town welcomed us 20 years ago. We plan on staying a part of it, and I want to talk about what Walmart's doing. So our stores often serve as the heartbeat of our communities we operate in, and these remodels are a testament to our dedication in enhancing that role. By investing in our stores and our associates, we are not only improving the shopping experience, but also reinforcing our commitment to being a vital part of this community's fabric, helping build a brighter future for all. Walmart remodels in South Carolina last year, we did over 650 stores in the U.S. and 33 stores in South Carolina. That was $279 million invested into South Carolina. And this store alone is going to be a $9 million investment. Some of the things we're reimagining in the store, we're going to have new, big, bold signage, exciting displays throughout the store, better showcase a lot of our new merchandise. We have over 2,000 different what we call SKUs or items within the store. More selections and expanded my departments like home lines, apparel. We're expanding our online and pickup delivery. That business continues to just grow, and it tends to be pretty vital to our customers. I mean, we can shop everything that a customer wants and deliver it straight to their home. They never even have to leave their doorstep. We're rethinking our pharmacy with wider aisles, new private screening rooms, and a privacy checkout area. We're adding a Dunkin' on the front for any coffee lovers. We're revamping our Clemson and Swoosh sports shop. I brought SWU back into the store for those who are any SWU graduates, but we didn't have SWU in the store when I got there, and we now have some SWU apparel in there to support the school. We're adding new digital shelf labels in May, so all of our labels will be digital. And I want to address the biggest concern I've had in the remodel, my mural. The mural was mandatory to paint over, but I am working diligently with the company to partner with the community to make sure we get something put up back in the store that supports Central and the partnership we've had over the years. It's by far been the biggest comments we've had, and trust me, as your store manager, I'm committed to fixing that and getting it right for the community. Being a part of the community means making investments that support and enrich the entire community. The company plays an active role in lifting communities and helping those in needs by local giving, associate volunteering, and emergency relief efforts when disaster strikes. Last year, we donated a total of $16.8 million to local communities in South Carolina. We donated 13.9 million pounds of food to our local food banks in South Carolina in 2025, which is equivalent to 11 million meals. And we spent $2.2 billion with South Carolina suppliers in 2025 to support more than 20,000 supplier jobs across the state, and we won't stop. This remodel is a testament to saying we're going to be here for the next decade, and I don't plan on leaving the store. I love what I do. For those who want to get a little bit to know me, I've been with the company for close to 15 years. It'll be 15 years this year. I started pushing carts and worked my way up in this company. It's given me everything I have for, and I'm grateful for my team. I'm grateful for this community, and if anyone has any questions, you can go to Tom and get his cell phone, and he can get a hold of me in a second, and I'd be glad to support anybody in the community, any questions you got. But thank you for the time.
Thank you, sir. Just, Alec, before you go, I just want to reiterate, $9 million investment into this Walmart.
Yes.
Okay. And also, there was quite a stir on Facebook today about the digital signs. You don't have to have your phone to read those signs and prices and things like that.
That is correct.
They're just digitally put up there so that people can see it well.
More visible,
Yes.
Easier to read. We can take price changes quicker. The integrity of price is really important here. So if a product's priced, we want it to be extremely accurate and not let the customer be confused when they go to checkout because of a mistake. So it'll improve accuracy too.
Great. And tell us about what you're going to do for us in bingo.
Yeah, yeah. So I am bringing the entire store manager chain of the upstate to the next bingo night, and we're going to be doing whatever we need to do to support it. I also have the market team. I'll be joined with my market manager, Amanda Lovejoy, who runs a $1 billion market in the entire upstate. So I'm trying to help the Greenville stores get into their communities and put their face out there and see what else could we do as a store, as a company, to integrate ourselves into our communities. And just, we have the ability to do so much, and my goal and Amanda's goal is to make it the most impactful we can in a positive way for all of the upstate.
Great. I just want to make sure everybody understands that he's bringing the upstate managers from Walmart's here to show them how to participate in the local community. I think that says something great about both of us. So I just want to make sure people understand that.
Appreciate that, Mr. Bill.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So next on the agenda is public session. Public session, we set aside a total of 30 minutes. Each speaker has 3 minutes in which they may address the council, and you sign in, and then you're able to speak to council. And so we have 2 people who signed in who wish to address council tonight, and the first one is Ann Warmoth. So Ann, invite you to come and
Thank you.
yeah, move
Mayor
the
Gill?
microphone. That's good.
Yeah, move the
Get
microphone.
it where you want to there. So.
Can you hear me? Yes, okay. So I'm coming with my annual report. We started this in 2020, Reached Across America. I'm not going to read it all because you all can read it, and if anybody in the audience wants to know, I'll be happy to tell them. This year, so 2025 is what I reported on. We had about 250 volunteers. We honored over 40 veterans in the ceremonial chairs, and we have several ceremonies going on in the community. We have 4 formal ceremonies, 3 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday. This year, Doug Berry made sure that New Olive Grove had a ceremony and also had all the wreaths, and he and Marshall Collins went over and cleaned up that cemetery so that we could find the graves. So that's really appreciated. We are projecting, based on, sadly, the loss and the aging out of the veterans, that this year we could have as many as 1,090 veterans needing a wreath. And as you all know, every grave has a volunteer with the wreath, and they put their hand on their heart and say the veteran's name out loud and thanks them for their service. Okay, so the other thing we've talked to you about in years past is if I do fundraising and people sponsor wreaths, and if there are any wreaths left over from the previous year, they roll to the next year. So at the end of 2025, roughly 250 wreaths were not pulled from our account, and so they will roll to 2026. Also last year, the matching by sponsor a wreath, get a wreath through Wreaths Across America funding, that cutoff was at the end of the year in December. So I came to council and you graciously granted the money, and you sponsored 202 wreaths, and so that was for 2026. I'm hoping this year they'll roll it to January, but if they don't, I'll come with the same request for you.
Sure.
And therefore, and Janie Collins couldn't be here tonight. She's my cohort. We're asking if you could budget the $1,496 again, sponsoring 202 wreaths. Just so everybody knows, the Seneca Journal donates that quarter-page color ad that runs during the fundraising time, thanks to JD, to support our fundraising efforts. Lowe's in Clemson, 400 flags that go out there. And speaking of which, my husband, who is a veteran, he and I have been trying to make sure we don't miss anybody at Mount Zion, because not every veteran is labeled. Right. So he's die-cast a veteran's disc. It's about this big, paints it, bronze, seals it, and turns it into a flag holder. And so we've put some out there, and we'll be putting more out in the spring so that every veteran there will have some kind of a marker, whether it's in their grave plate or one of these, and we will maintain them. Listed below are the sponsors for 2025, and I'm proud to announce that Alec at Walmart this year, he's giving us a grant, a pretty sizable grant, I might add, and thanks to Doug Berry, Knights of Columbus is also going to be a major contributor of wreaths, as well as coming and laying wreaths. Down below, it tells you how many veterans we had per cemetery, and that was 1,036 last year. We actually had more at Mount Zion, but because of adding on as we found them, that number is far greater. All right, so that's all I have. Thank you so much for your support.
Once again, tell us the amount that.
Oh, $1,496. And I sent you a copy of this, Mayor.
Yes, we will, let's make sure we put that on for our council information meeting so that we can discuss that and bring that up for action later.
Okay. And the other thing, the big change last year was, previous program was if you sponsored 2 wreaths, you got a third one free. They took that away.
Right.
What they put into place is 1 wreath, $17. Out of the $17, they put $5 into an account they maintain up at corporate. When that number, the dollar amount, reaches 17, based on sponsored wreaths, they add a wreath to the program. So that's why in the past, the report said that we don't get any money back from Wreaths Across America. We don't physically get it, but we get wreaths.
Okay.
All right, to clear that up. Okay, do any of you have any questions? Okay, and this year it will be the 19th and 20th of December. We appreciate it's late in the year, but the problem, and the reason it is because of when Thanksgiving hits. And so they have to have enough time to make the wreaths. And Don made about 100 of these medallions. So we're getting them at Mount Zion, New Olive Grove, out at White Oak Springs and Abel, any place where we find veterans, and he will continue to make them. Although at the moment I have my dining room table and my kitchen table back, but he'll go back into production as we need them. Okay?
And thank you so much. We appreciate
you.
you leading this charge and helping us help you as we honor our veterans.
Yes,
Thank you.
It's important, and it means a lot. And by the way, Alec allowed me to come in and honor one of his veterans who was retiring. And so as we find veterans in the businesses, and same with Lowe's, that I'm a daughter of the American Revolution, and we go in with certificates and honor these veterans and thank them on behalf of a grateful nation.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the list, we have Justin Reiki. Mr. Reiki, if you would.
Well, good evening. It's nice to see pleasant faces here tonight. Most of you know me, certainly. I'm Justin Reiki. I'm the chair of the Planning Commission. I've been serving on the commission for 9 years. And about every year or two, I try to make the time to come up and thank council and thank town. A lot of people like to come up here to the microphone. Actually, I take that back. A lot of people don't like to come to the microphone. They like to sit behind Facebook and complain a lot. Those people don't show up, and I ask you to remember that. People that care get involved, and that's why every one of you are sitting where you are tonight. You made a conscious commitment to this town and a decent sacrifice to represent it, and I sincerely appreciate that. But I'm here tonight to tell you thank you for everything that the town does for the Planning Commission, for the resources that we've attained or gotten over the last couple of years, including our contract planner, the support we get from ACOG through our zoning administrator, through the recent budget allocation for the codes enforcement officer. These are all significant changes, very positive investments. And a lot of that, I think, is due to Philip here and his leadership. I have complained and complained and complained, he's nodding, for years about those 3 things. And he would tell me, I'm working on it, I'm working on it, I'm working on it. And I never lost hope. I really did. I truly, Philip has never not told me the truth, even sometimes when it's very hard truth. And we disagree frequently, but we always realize what the vision is for the town and our duties to the town. I noticed at the end of the agenda tonight, you've got an item on there for the administrator's contract extension. I just want to mention that I'll miss Philip when he goes. I don't know when that's going to be, But I'm going to remind you that as you discuss the contract extension, that the decisions you're making tonight will have significant ramifications related to the next administrator. So whenever Mr. Mishu decides to retire, those candidates that are going to be looking at this job are going to be looking at council's support of the administrator. And if they see that they have a council that's not supportive of the administrator, we're going to lose qualified applicants. And this town needs so much more now than ever before, strong leadership and qualified future applicants. Thank you for everything you do. I'll be here for the UDO, or the comprehensive plan, I think that's up on the agenda in case you have any questions about that. But otherwise, let me know if there's anything I can do for you all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your comments. Okay, per our motion and move earlier, we are now going to agenda item number 9, which is consideration of ordinances and policies already in the possession of council. First one we have is ordinance 0309-2026, second reading for Jimmy Head, annexing 232 Landfill Road, parcel 40750021065. I would entertain a motion. Chair makes a motion that we approve on second reading ordinance 0309-2026 annex, and that's parcel 40750021065, 232 Central Landfill Road.
Second.
All right, there's a motion and there's a second to approve this on second reading. Are there any questions or comments about this that council would like?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make some comments on this. Having spoken with some of the property owners that surround this land that Mr. Head would like to have the town annexed, they have concerns about the infrastructure in the general vicinity, namely Taylor Street, Head Lake Road, and how would the annexation and future development play into the traffic flow on those roads. They definitely have some major concerns with the town moving forward on the annexation of this parcel and how it would affect their property values. So those are just my concerns as well. How would the infrastructure be handled within that parcel?
Sure. And I mean, you know this, but I'm saying it to everyone because you raised the question that just because it gets annexed doesn't mean that everything happens. It has to go through a pretty rigorous process to make sure that we vet all those kinds of things before it happens. So I think that's how I would help answer those questions. Has everybody had a chance to find this in your packet? I know I've jumped over a lot of stuff, but again, just to read part of this, whereas proper petition has been filed with the Central Town Council and signed December 22nd, 2025, 100% of the freeholders owning 100% of the assessed value of the contiguous property hereinafter described is petitioning for annexation to the town of Central under the provisions of South Carolina Law Code 5-3-150, parentheses 3, and parcel number 40750021065, that it should be zoned general commercial, and that the annexation would be contingent on sale of the parcel to the Seraph Group. And if sale does not close, the property will revert to current status. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor of approving on second reading ordinance 0309-2026 annex parcel 407500021065-232 Central Landfill Road. All those in favor, please make known by raising your right hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, yes. All those opposed signify by raising your right hand. And 3, no. The motion passes. Second on our agenda is ordinance 0309-2026. That's the second reading. This is ordinance 0309-2026, annexing 407400554422. Is there a motion that we put this? Is there a motion for this?
I move that we adopt ordinance 0309-2026, annex 047400554422 on second reading.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. We can now have a discussion of this. Are there any comments or discussion, questions? I would just remind you that this was a parcel that was left off originally. It was our mistake, and I'm correcting that mistake. And by having first reading last month and second reading this month. So proper petition has been filed with Central Town Council, signed December 31st, 2024. 100% of the freeholders own 100% of the assessed value of the contiguous property. Herein described is petitioning for annexation to the town of Central under the provisions of South Carolina Law Code 5-3-150, parentheses 3. And whereas this parcel number 407400554422 shall be zoned general commercial. All right, all those in favor of ordinance 0309-2026, annex 407400554422, signify by raising your right hand. All those opposed, passes unanimously. Next on our agenda is second reading of ordinance 03-09-2026, the returning of Broad Street at Hurd Street to a two-way traffic pattern. Is there a motion?
I move that we adopt ordinance 030-09-2026, second reading, returning of Broad Street at Hurd Street to two-way traffic pattern.
Second.
All right, there's been a motion and second, so we can have a discussion of this. Let me just let people know that this is the property at Hurd Street. It's Turtle Bay Nutrition. It's formerly known as Bee's Knees. And for quite a while, they have asked that that area be returned to a two-way traffic pattern there so people have more ease to get to their business and to get out. It's gone through the police and through the town. It's our road. We can do that. We will lose some parallel parking, but they have put in a parking lot that they will allow the town to use. And so that's what we're That's what we're willing to do. Any questions or comments?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
as far as the two-way of that street, I thought it was gonna end at the Bee's Knees, not go all the way to Hurd Street, because there's not enough space between the lines on Broad Street. There's not enough room for two ways,
Yes. That's correct.
so it's not going all the way to Hurd Street, and that has to be changed still.
That's the closest street that we can get to name that we have to, so that people understand where it is, that it might be cut off.
Well, I think they'll be trying to push through all the way to Hurd Street. If we leave it in there, it's gonna be hard enough, I think, for them to turn around, in the gravel lot if there's anybody
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. What I'm saying is, we have to have a point where it stops. And we're saying before it gets to Hurd Street, it's gonna stop actually at the end of that property, because that's where the road tightens up. But people have asked us to give them, to not say things like 20 yards past the driveway or something like that.
And there will be signage there where the road ends, the two-way to the single-lane traffic.
Yes, Tom, would you like to speak to any of this?
Yes, we met with that and made sure we really followed along with DOT regulations on the lane width and everything. The parking spots that we'll be losing down here are really those that aren't used very much. And what will happen is we'll allow to go back like it was, but there's gonna be very prominent signs right there as you come up past the parking area and you move up a little closer forward there. There'll be the do not enter that people will see. So they want to have the parking area to pull in and out of, turn around. So, we've studied it. As you know, one of our employees also was appointed with DOT, we've had him look at it. He was actually a director of DOT, so he's familiar with all of that. He's gone through and approved everything and what will happen, the striping, all that will take place. So we feel we've done our due diligence and that, we've got it where it needs to be. We're being proactive to try to help our businesses, that's what we want to do. And they do make a very valid point on some of the issues proposed coming there. So I think this is a good move by the town to help our local business.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you, Mr. Berry, for reminding us of that. We will make sure it doesn't go all the way to Hurd Street, but it'll go as far as it can legally. And we will follow all the laws. Thank you, sir. Okay. If there's no other questions or comments, all those in favor of ordinance 0309-2026, returning of Broad Street at Hurd Street to two-way traffic pattern. If you're in favor of this, make it known by raising your right hand. 7 yes. All those opposed? No. And it passes. The next item is ordinance 0309, 2026, the second reading, which is the renaming of work session of council meeting to work session being called council council briefings.
Is it council briefings or council information meeting?
I think it's council information meeting. That's what the ordinance says. And I think it got put wrong on the agenda. So it is to rename what we often refer to as work session as council information meeting. And I would entertain a motion so we can discuss it if we want to.
I move that we adopt on second reading ordinance 0309-2026, renaming of work session.
Second.
All right, there's a motion and support. Let me just say a word about this. This is because of trying to just be more transparent and more descriptive in what we do. We have one meeting a month where we receive information. We talk, we discuss, we ask resource people to come. We do not take any action or vote. The next meeting is like this meeting, regular council meeting, where we take action. Some people have said one's work session, one's public session, and it makes them think that they can only come to this one and not come to the other one. So trying to be as transparent as possible, I want us to name these so they accurately reflect what it is that we do in those times. So we would refer to this from now on as council to that first meeting as council information meeting. Any questions or comments about that? Okay, if you're in favor of ordinance 0309-2026, renaming of work session, signify aye by raising your right hand. That's 7. Opposed, no. And that passes. Now we will go back to what was originally listed as number 3, which is actually number 4, which is introduction and consideration of new ordinances, policies, proclamations, and resolutions. Let me just say, y'all are being great so far. Keep it up, all right? It's been a lot and moving the agenda around, but we're doing it the right way, so thank you. So our first resolution is Resolution 0309-2026, Notice of Public Hearing, and which is the adoption of 18-mile redevelopment plan. What I would like is for us to have a motion and a second so that we can get this on the table and then we can have discussion.
I move that we adopt resolution 3-09-2026, notice of public hearing.
Second.
All right, there's a second. And so we now can have this discussion. Mr. Administrator, I think you have some resource people here that might want to help us in understanding this, and everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
We've been working on this for about a year,
Right.
as y'all remember. So we're now at a point to create the ability to have a TIF. And actually, A and B kind of go together, because you have a municipal improvement district that's going to follow that. And we've got our attorney, Mike Burns, and his associate, Brandon Norris, here. So I'd like them to come up and kind of give you a recap of what the resolution is and then what the ordinance is going to be coming up next.
Great, thank y'all. As y'all are coming up, I just want to remind everyone, now that it's on the table, we can speak about this, that what we are saying here is that we are now, are all of you familiar with the old Southern saying, "I'm fixing to get ready to do something"? We're sort of, what this is, it says, we're fixing to get ready now to investigate if we want to have a TIF. And so, Mr. Burns, talk to us a little bit about it.
Certainly. Mayor, members of council, thank you. Pleasure to be here this evening. Thank you, Philip. Yeah, I know some, maybe most of you have heard.
Can you move the microphone just up just a little bit more so people can hear it a little bit better? There
Is
you
that a
go.
little better?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I know that most of you have probably heard about the proposed TIF district. In essence, to just briefly summarize, I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have, but what's been discussed is the creation of a TIF district in a certain part of the town that is located in the town. Some of it was just recently annexed in the prior agenda item. But in essence, the concept behind it is that the growth within the TIF district pays for the growth, pays for the infrastructure within the TIF district. And to the extent that those new taxes in the TIF district are insufficient, then, as Mr. Michoud mentioned, then a municipal improvement district is also anticipated to be created as part of this, which would put on special assessments on the real property to make up for any difference in what the expected taxes were supposed to be. So what you have before you tonight, and that was a good way to put it, this is we're getting ready to fixing to. This does not commit the town to do any financing, to undertake any infrastructure, to incur any financial liability. This is the first step in the process that would provide for the creation of a TIF district, which would in turn provide a mechanism, should council choose to use it, to do that financing for the public infrastructure, again, public improvements within the site. Specifically, what is in front of you is a resolution that starts this process. It does two things: provides for a notice to be published in the newspaper of a public hearing. That's part of the statutory process of this, and we have that scheduled for, the statute takes a long time to go through all the motions. May 11th, council meeting on May 11th would be the date for that public hearing. So it provides for a notice of that public hearing to be published in the newspaper. The second thing that it does, as required by the statute, is provides for a notice to be provided to all the taxing districts that this redevelopment, this TIF plan has been prepared. So the form of that is part of this resolution, and I believe that we have that scheduled, should council choose to move forward, would go out towards the end of this week and be provided to Pickens County and Pickens County School District. It provides them a period of at least 45 days to review and either consent or be silent, which is regarded as consent, or should they choose to object to it, they have that period of time to object, which could potentially lead into some negotiations down the road if it turned into that. So that is the resolution before you, and I'd be glad to talk about the ordinance after this, or I can wait until y'all get to that point in the agenda.
Let's do it one at a time.
Certainly. And I'm, again, glad to answer any questions, if you have any.
So does council have any questions for Mr. Burns about this proposal? I mean, we've been talking about it for almost a year now, but this is a good time to ask questions.
I might just make one. Actual adoption of the TIF redevelopment plan would not actually happen until, I believe on the schedule, it would be at this June, actually. So this does not finalize the TIF. This just starts the process. You'll have opportunity to review it down the road. Sorry, Mayor.
How many taxing districts are there in the town of Central?
There are Town of Central, Pickens County, and Pickens County School District. On the tax bill, I believe that Tri-County Tech, Library, and that might be it, are identified, but Tri-County and Library actually roll up into the county. So those are the three: town, school district, and county are the three taxing districts.
So any TIF would just be to the town of Central, or would it go to all three?
It would apply again, well, the way it's proposed is that it would apply against the tax bill for all taxing districts.
Mm-hmm.
But it is proposed that the school district and the county participate at 50%. And then the town participates at 80% for 10 years, 75% for the next 5 years, and then 50% for the remaining. The total TIF period is 25 years worth of collections of TIF revenues. I know that kind of gets into the weeds and the details a little bit, but it's been proposed, again, at a 50% participation rate by the county and the school district.
Do you know what the percentage would go up? Or what tax rate would be charged?
Tax rate is, so millage would be applied against the frozen initial assessed value. So in June, should council choose to adopt the TIF redevelopment plan, the assessed value of all property would be fixed at that point. And taxes millage would be applied against that value for the life of the TIF. But as new property, private property is developed, the millage rate is applied to that increased assessed value, and that's what generates the TIF revenues. And so it's proposed that the school district and the county, 50% of that increase, the taxes attributable to that increase from their millage would go towards the TIF.
Okay.
And they would keep 50% to do what they do.
Does everybody understand that? I can tell you in layman's terms. You know, it's frozen, like he said. That's the base. So everything from here down to there still goes to the taxing entity. As the value of the property increases because they built a Sphinx or homes, the difference between here and wherever this is the TIF. So we're proposing half of that from the school district and the county. So half of this would go into the TIF. And the whole concept is there's got to be some improvements in that area. And I think we all feel like that the improvements need to be paid for by that area because they're the ones that is putting the strain on our infrastructure. So when we're talking about the improvements in that area, it's a two-pronged approach. It's the TIF, going to be the increased taxes from that district to help pay for it. And the other one is the impact fees that we talked about last month, and it's also on the agenda. So hopefully those two things will fund that infrastructure.
So that's one question that I have when he was explaining it. That's where I was confused at. What's gonna separate my property from the new property being built in the same tax district?
The TIF we've drawn the map, and the TIF is that developing property. So that's where the TIF is. It's not gonna affect me or you or Lynn, because we're not in that district.
I tend to agree with Daniel that it does seem confusing.
There's 3 tax districts.
Right.
School district, Pickens County, Central. How do we separate my property from the property being built at the tax district?
And Mr. Mishu, if I may, it's the redevelopment district that we're talking about, not the town overall. It's
Right.
just what's being redeveloped across 123 that would be taxed at this TIF
And
rate.
what we would do is we go to Brent Sutter, once we get past June, if everything works out, and we would show him the TIF district, and then he's the one that splits it out. He'll basically get all like the tax map numbers, know what the bills are, and then would do what I just described with freezing it, and then everything up above here, and then he would take 50%, send it to the school district, and the other 50% that would go to the school district would come here and be put in a special TIF account. And then it'd be the same with the county. And then whatever percentages we're taking out of that, I think it's 80%, 80% would be electronically transferred here that says TIF, and then the other 20% would just get into the property tax pot that the rest of us are in.
So if I built a house over there, my property tax receipt came in, it would show, for example, Central School District, Pickens County, the fourth one that Curtis just said. Whereas my current residence, it would just show 3. Is that,
Your tax bill's not gonna change. You're not even, unless you come down to town hall and we tell you, you're not gonna know that that's getting split out and some going into TIF and some going into the general fund pot.
well, I was just trying to make a more clarification on how do we know that everyone else's tax bills are not going up and it's only that new district who's being charged more for the TIF.
No, they're not being charged more. They'll get reassessed when it's not agriculture and it becomes a housing development.
Okay.
So then it gets assessed more at what the houses like y'all do. Right now, it's agriculture, so it's like $2 an acre.
Right.
So the TIF doesn't change the assessed value.
Just the percentage they're
What
paying.
the TIF does is tell Brent Sudduth where to send it.
Portion-wise, right?
Right.
Portion-wise.
Okay.
I just remind you that if you look around and if you look over to our rec center, all that was done. This building, rec center, with a TIF. And otherwise, it would be meeting beside the fire trucks uptown. So there's benefit to it as far as I'm concerned.
They're effective if you do them correctly. And, you know, that's our goal here, is to do it correctly.
And the next item that we're gonna, I want us to do this, but the next item that we're doing is sort of a backstop to this. It is a way to say, to the developer, if you don't do what you're supposed to do, then you have to help us pay for this. Which they don't particularly like, but that's,
Cost of business.
yeah. Any other questions about this? It is on the floor, does have support. Again, we're authorizing the town of Central, South Carolina to publish a notice of public hearing relating to the adoption of the 18-mile redevelopment plan, authorizing the town to provide notice thereof to Pickens County, South Carolina, and the school district of Pickens County, South Carolina, and other matters related thereto. All those in favor of adopting Resolution 3-09-2026, Notice of Public Hearing, would you make that a yes by raising your right hand? That's 7. Any opposed? No. No opposed, and so it passes. So next is under the resolutions B, ordinance 4/13/2026, first reading of municipal improvement district. And that is in your packet of information. You can see there, ordinance 04-13-2026, MID, M-I-D. Entertain a motion so that we can discuss this. Chair moves that we adopt on first reading ordinance 04-13-2026, MID. Second. Second, all right. So it's on the table now so we can have a discussion. You can sort of read through this. Mr. Burns, let me just read the first little part of this and then let you talk. An ordinance authorizing an agreement with Youngblood Land Company LLC and 18-Mile LLC concerning the commencement of construction of certain improvements in anticipation of the inclusion of the area which is improved in an improvement district to be created under Chapter 37 of Title V of the Code of Laws of South Carolina and other matters related thereto. We turn to you for your translation.
Can I kind of give them an idea of what municipal bonds are? Because Daniel and I talked about it last week. So I'm gonna give them the same spiel I gave you, okay? Because I think he said he purchases municipal bonds, so he was a little bit familiar with it. When a municipality issues municipal bonds, you can collateralize it some or a lot. And what that does is it lowers the interest rate that we'll pay on the bonds. So there's some that don't have any collateral, and there's some that have a lot. So if you're a municipal bond buyer, you're gonna have a portfolio with high-risk bonds, low-risk bonds. And you may have 80-20, 50-50, whatever you want. So I wanna have our interest rate to be as low as it can go so that our payments aren't very high. To do that, you have to collateralize it some. So we're probably going to commit other funds as collateral, and we're asking, or we're gonna make the developer also be part of that collateralizing the bonds so we get a lower interest rate. Payments are lower. So that's the theory behind it. Okay. Thank you.
So thank you, Philip. As part of this process, should council decide to move forward, would potentially be the town issuing, we call them TIF bonds, Tax Increment Finance District bonds, which primarily, like Philip mentioned, it would be repaid from that increase in taxes within the TIF district. The challenge with that is if there is no private development at that particular time when the bonds are issued, there's no TIF revenue yet to support that. But you can see it you can see it coming out of the ground. You know it's coming. Like Philip mentioned, getting someone to buy a bond that's based on just some dirt right now is difficult. So you might have to provide some additional collateral or certainty that they're going to be repaid. Various ways to do that, one of which I think the town has made pretty clear to the developers here is going to be necessary before the town would even entertain issuing bonds, is that there's going to need to be what we call a municipal improvement district established on some portion of the TIF district. And this is another item that there will be much more approvals down the road should you decide to go that route to approve it. But what this would do is create that district that would authorize assessments to be imposed on the real property in there. The idea being, okay, if private development has not come to fruition to repay these bonds, then assessments are going to be imposed on that property to make up for the shortfall of the expected TIF revenues. That would be a source of collateral or security for those bonds. That's a background of when we use the word improvement district or MID, that's what we're talking about there. An area in which those assessments could be imposed to generate money to repay the bonds if private development does not occur. The reason we have this ordinance before you now is it's just kind of a quirk of the statute that we're under that requires if the developer is going to go ahead and start commencement of construction of these improvements that are to be paid for with the assessments, then before the actual mid-district is created, then there needs to be a preliminary agreement between the town and the developer approved by ordinance that authorizes them to commence construction. So what you have is the ordinance and a proposed, honestly, a kind of a short agreement that authorizes them to go ahead and start work on these improvements, I guess particularly water, sewer infrastructure, while preserving the town's ability to place this area in a mid-district. So it's for the town's benefit and the developers. Again, this does not commit the town to do anything to undertake any financial liability. It just preserves this financing mechanism moving forward. And glad to answer any questions, but Phil,
Other questions? I would say that for all the people, for all of us who say we want developers to put in, not just us put in, this is what we're voting on, is to say, put in.
basically puts them to put some skin in the game, you know? I mean, we're kinda taking some risk here, and they should too. We're kinda dependent on each other for it to work.
Let's say calculated risk.
Calculated risk, yeah.
I think Mr. Youngblood and 18 Mile has done due diligence about what might happen at that place. And I don't think they're in the business of throwing good money into bad, so. Okay. If there's no other questions, then it's before us. All those in favor of the first reading of ordinance 0413, 2026 MID, all those in favor, raise your right hand. That's 7 yeses. Any opposed? Can't be. And so that passes. So, thank you, Mike. I appreciate your, and all the time and energy you put into this, and thank you for that, sir. Next on the agenda is ordinance 0413, 2026, first reading of comprehensive plan, ordinance to amend the comprehensive plan, the future land use map of the town of Central South Carolina. I would entertain a motion.
I move that we approve on first reading ordinance 0413, 2026 comprehensive plan update of the future land use map.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and support, so now we can have a discussion of this. Mr. Curtis, I'll let you sort of walk us through this.
Okay, if I may, if I can ask Mr. Reiki
Yeah.
to come and just update us as to the future land use map and why we have sought to amend this and make it a permanent change.
Sure. So this is a routine process that happens in all municipalities as municipal boundaries grow through annexation. So the town in the last year or so has annexed a significant amount of land south of 123. Anytime a city annexes a decent amount of land, it's a good practice to update the future land use map, which is a portion of the comprehensive plan, which is one of the key documents used by council and the planning commission to guide decisions. So in order for you to make a decision regarding a piece of property, you need to be able to point to the section of the document where it is included, and this change will include that portion of the document. The changes are limited to the properties that have been annexed recently, as well as any corrections that we noticed related to properties that were still in an incorrect zoning classification in the county's GIS system. So no substantive changes other than those properties recently annexed south of 123.
Thank you, Mr. Reiki, for your input.
Are there any questions? We discussed this at our council briefing, or council information meeting. And this is first reading, so we have a month to take input and whatever else we need, but we just need to update to make sure that when people look at our maps, that they understand what they're looking at and that it's accurate. All right, all those in favor of approving on first reading ordinance 0413, 2026 comp plan FLU map, if you're in favor of that on first reading, please raise your right hand. That's 7 yes, opposed, not opposed, and so that is approved on first reading. Next on the agenda, is ordinance 04-13-2026, first reading, rezoning 400 Sims School Road. That is 407510276126 to be combined with 407510-27-7016.
I will make a motion to pass ordinance 0413-2026, rezoning a 400 Sims School Road.
Second.
Okay. Let me speak to this for just a moment, because this is yeah, yes, sir?
I'm the property owner of 400 Sims School Road,
Yes.
and last month I was at the meeting, their meeting, and I'm not sure what the name of the meeting was. Basically, the R20 was not what I had petitioned for originally, but I don't know if you guys were aware of that or not. I just want to make sure kind of bring that up.
Thank you, sir. Let me let me continue, and maybe I can help you with this, okay? We have an unusual situation in that we have a university zone. Not many cities have that, because not many of them have a university. And in the university zone, we have it's a zoning that allows the university some privileges, but also some responsibilities. They have chosen to, the university, Southern Wesleyan University has chosen to sell some of their property. And so that property then has to be rezoned, because it cannot be bought with, it cannot continue to be university zoning if it's not in the university anymore, if they've sold it. There was an application from Mr. Perez to have this zoned, and there was discussion last week among council members that our position would like to be that if there are parcels of land that come out of the university zoning, that they go to R20, and then whoever buys those can then petition us with drawings or whatever else, or proposals to have them change in that zoning. Am I correct? Is that council?
Yes, sir.
Am I reflecting our discussion
Yes, sir.
correctly? And the major issue of that being is that we want to make sure, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that we are accurately zoning what we think is best for the town, as reflected by the person who owns the property. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. And if I may interject, when planning considers an update to zoning that is brought to them from developers or single landowners, council takes that under to consideration, but council does not have to approve the zoning change that planning has suggested that we approve. So that might clarify some of the information Mr. Perez has. And, Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Mr. Perez has raised his hand.
Um,
Can we address that?
Well, let me, Mr. Perez, let me just say, I will be glad to talk with you after our meeting, and I'm not sure that we allow people to address us unless it's okay with y'all.
I don't have a problem.
Okay, if you would like to address us.
Look, I just think I understand your position, and I met last month. I just think it would have been a little bit more courteous, and I say that with all due respect to everyone, if someone would contact me and say, hey, this is what's going on, and this is what we need, and we need drawings, and we need whatever needs to be done. Because, you know, I think that would have been a fair thing to do, that's all I'm saying. And in the future, and I say that again with all due respect, I think that that's, you know, someone from a communications point of view,
Sure.
I think that's just courteous.
Okay.
To say, hey, this is what's going on, we understand this happened, and we met, and we did this, and this is what your, you know, your different options are. And maybe I wouldn't have been here tonight.
I,
I had my Bible study tonight, yeah. And that's-
Sure.
And that's my only, you know, that's my only issue at this point, not so much that you decided one way or the other.
right. I apologize, and it duly noted that it doesn't appear to be courteous to you, and I apologize to you for that. It's not your problem, but we have acted too quickly in the past on some of these, and they have become our problem. And our people tell us not to do that anymore. So let me figure out how we can address this. I would say to you, I would like for you, you would not have to pay a fee again or anything like that, but just ask again to be rezoned with plans that we can look at and see. And I know that's not good in some ways, but that's what I can offer you. I'm sorry, I'm trying to think my Robert's Rules of Orders here, because I think maybe the best way is for us to just table this so that it can be brought back next month. But there's a motion on the floor. Mr. Administrator?
This is just first reading.
Just first reading.
So the reading that counts is the second reading. You can go ahead and have the first reading, and then you can wait as long as you want to have the second reading. I think because it's on the table, you have to do something.
I think we have to act,
Yeah.
and I agree with that. Okay. So Mr. Perez has requested, let me find, I've got to find the,
He has requested rezone to RM8.
RM, that's what I was looking for, RM8. Okay, since we had conflicting, we will go with what has been filed and what has been presented to us, which is Mr. Perez asking us to rezone that to RM8 on first reading. So you have an option of voting yes, and then having discussions with him before second reading, or you can vote no. I cannot tell you how to vote on this.
So the vote of R20 is off the table?
Yes.
And the vote for RM8 is now on the table?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Does everybody understand that? All those in favor of approving on first reading, ordinance 0413-2026, rezoning of 400 Sim School Road to RM8. First reading. If you're in favor of that, would you please raise your right hand? If you're opposed, there are 6 opposed, 1 yes. And so it fails on first reading. Okay. We're down to council packets, aren't we?
Yes.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is policy 0309-2026, publishing of council packets. Is there a motion?
I would like to make the motion that we adopt policy 03-09-2026, publishing of council packets.
Second.
Okay. So what's before us is that we are adopting the policy. Let me just read a little bit of this for you, and we'll be. The purpose of this policy is to promote transparency, accessibility, and open communication between the town of Central and its citizens by providing timely public access to town council meeting materials. And this will be our statement. The town of Central shall make town council meeting agenda packets available to the public through electronic distribution and publication on the town's official website as well as in the town lobby. This policy is intended to ensure residents have reasonable and timely access to information regarding matters considered by the town council. And this policy will apply to all regular and special meetings of the town council of the town of Central. So what I'm asking us to do is, again, another place of transparency is to say that when we normally publish our agenda, we will also publish all the packet of information so that everybody can see it and digest it, read it, and have access to it prior to meetings. Are there any questions or comments? All those in favor of policy 0309-2026, council meeting packet publication, if you're in favor of this, will you please raise your right hand? That's 7 yes. Any opposed? Can't be, so that measure passes. Next, another resolution that we have is Resolution 0309-2026, naming of Bolick Field concession stand, and that it would be named in memoriam of Susan Abercrombie.
Make a,
I've moved for the resolution at 03-09-2026, the naming of Bolick Field concession stand in memory of Susan Abercrombie.
Second.
second.
Okay. So let me just, I know y'all are tired of me talking, but a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Central honoring the memory of Susan Abercrombie by naming the concession stand located at Bolick Field the Susan Abercrombie Memorial Concession Stand. Whereas Susan Abercrombie was a valued and respected member of the Central community who demonstrated a deep commitment to serving others, and whereas through her service, volunteerism, and support of community recreation and youth activities, Susan Abercrombie positively impacted countless residents and families, and whereas her dedication to the programs, the participants, and families who gather at Bolick Field created lasting memories and strengthen the sense of community within the city. And whereas the City Council desires to recognize and honor the life, service, and contributions of Susan Abercrombie in a meaningful and lasting manner. And whereas the concession stand located at Bullock Field serves as a central gathering place for families, youth, and visitors attending recreation events, and is an appropriate facility to commemorate her legacy. Now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and Town Council of the Town of Central South Carolina and council duly assembled, that the concession stand located at Bullock Field shall be officially named the Susan Abercrombie Memorial Concession Stand, and that the town is authorized to install appropriate signage or a commemorative plaque recognizing the concession stand as the Susan Abercrombie Memorial Concession Stand in honor of her service and dedication to the community. And this resolution shall take effect immediately upon its adoption by the town council. Are there any questions or comments? We have great people. I would like to speak to this. We have great people in this town who give selflessly to a lot of things, and I am happy when we are able to honor those people in appropriate ways. That's part of what makes us a good place to live. All those in favor of Resolution 0309-2026, the naming of Bullock Field Concession Stand in memoriam of Susan Abercrombie. If you're in favor of this, would you please raise your right hand? That's 7, that's unanimous, and opposed, and there's none opposed. And very gratefully, we adopt that resolution. Next on our agenda is official presentation recognizing April as Sexual Assault and Child Abuse Prevention Month. It would be an official proclamation. Sexual Assault Awareness Month and Child Abuse Awareness Month, observed each year in April, provides an opportunity to raise public awareness, support for those two causes, and that every child and individual deserves to grow up and live in a safe, nurturing, and healthy environment, free from abuse and neglect, and surrounded by love, support, and opportunity. And it also goes on to say, urge all residents to recognize this month by supporting the efforts of Pickens County Advocacy Center, the Parenting Place, and Prevent Child Abuse Pickens County by participating in awareness activities and committing to protect and uplift every child in our community. Are there any questions or comments? Did we make a motion?
No, sir.
Oh, I got ahead of myself there. Sorry, folks. Plowing through this. Chair makes a motion that we offer official proclamation recognizing April as Sexual Assault and Child Abuse Prevention Month.
Second.
And then all that stuff I just said should have been said there. Let me say that in my job as chaplain at Southern Wesleyan University, I've worked very closely with these organizations, and I can tell you firsthand from having to help people go to those places and get help of the great work that they do that is never seen oftentimes and never talked about oftentimes. And one of their workers is here with us, and she stayed out till the bitter end here with us, and we appreciate that. All right, all those in favor of the official proclamation recognizing April as Sexual Assault and Child Abuse Prevention Month, if you're in favor of that, please raise your right hand. That's 7 yeses. If you're opposed, no. And so that passes as well. All right, we're on to number 4, Meeting minutes, we have work session minutes. I'm assuming that you, everybody, after last week has given corrections and additions. So I'll make a motion that we accept work session minutes 2/3/2026.
Second.
Any questions, comments? All those in favor of adopting work session minutes 2/3/2026, please raise your right hand. That's 7 yeses. Any opposed? None. It passes. Chair makes a motion that we adopt regular council meeting minutes of 2/9/2026.
Second.
Okay, any comments or questions about those minutes? All those in favor of adopting regular council meeting minutes of 2/9/2026, please raise your right hand. And that's 7 yes. Any opposed? There's none, and that passes. Next, we're on to receipt and disposition of petitions. Do we have any at this time, Mr. Administrator?
None at this time, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Next, we have reports from council committees. I recognize Mr. Evett for Finance and Marketing.
I do have a couple of questions for Philip, just trying to get clarification going off the February budget and the numbers. In water revenue, at the end of February, we showed revenue of $73,759, compared to last month, which was $197,808. Trying to get clarification on the huge gap between those numbers.
You want me to answer that?
Yes.
Okay. He gave me the questions this afternoon, so Josh and I have worked on them. I'd like to defer to Josh. You need your notes?
Dang, my notes that big.
All right. Just a little bit of information. Revenues based off of previous month's billing, which means that December 2025 would have been January's revenue that actually came in. The billed amount comes in revenue in January of 2026. December's water bill was 12,309 gallons, or 12,300,009,844. January of 2026 was billed at about 9 million gallons. By nature, more billed out means that more revenue can come in during that month, and we do bill a month behind. Side note, we also had $91,000, $91,780 come in that was reimbursement for fees for the Brock Street Water Project, the engineering fees. It was an RIA, they were trying to clear out the RIA grant, and so what they did is they reimbursed us, and so I put that back in the water where we've been taking it out of for the past 2 years.
2 years.
Yep. So that's why the January numbers were a little bit higher as far as revenue that actually came in, but also the ebb and flow of the revenue and expenses. So that would take care of revenue for February.
Would that also take care of the sewer revenue
Mhm.
and also the sewer expense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we printed off, you were asking for, you wanted to actually see the expenses and what it was spent on.
Right.
We ran a copy of what was spent,
Yeah.
everything but paper.
Yeah,
Okay.
the voucher. So I have a copy of all of that. If you want to look at it, you can see it. It's a little bit hard because O&M, there are 4 different accounts that come out of there, so I had to come up with a different way, a voucher system to come up with it. So nothing jumps out at me as different than what we usually pay for sewer revenue. But expenses are based upon what expenses we have for that month. And with the Public Works Director, taking another job somewhere else. Me and Stephen Henderson have been trying to get a handle on the expenses and make sure that everything's paid in a timely fashion, so.
Okay. I'm eliminating 3 of my questions because your first answer
Yeah,
answered
yeah, and
2,
that's,
3,
that's
and
on
4.
my notes, that was the same thing.
Yep,
Did you want to go down to 5?
yes,
The tax revenue for the TIF?
Yep.
If you're talking about, the TIF revenue, one thing that is interesting is that this month, tax came in for the Kenyon, which includes that was new. So I specifically, that increase was for the Kenyon property paying their property taxes. That's something new that came in, so that $230,000 was the property taxes for the TIF,
And this is the last year of that TIF.
of this TIF.
So
okay.
that TIF will go away.
Yep, as of December.
And just so the council member and the audience knows, my question was, TIF 40 last month was 364,979. This month it was almost 615,000. What happened here to make such a huge jump? And I was just trying to get clarification.
Yeah,
We already had the answer to that one.
yeah, because I had to contact Pickens County to make sure it wasn't an error, because Pickens County has a tendency, sometimes because they just send me, when they send an EFT, they send me a sheet, and it's my responsibility to double check their numbers, basically. So I was making sure that that number was right before I put it in the TIF account.
Understand. The last one was just, when I'm looking over the budget, I'll try to see like trends. I know you can't really make it where it's true trends, but you can see patterns.
And that sort of is not apples to apples, because the billing for February, the gallons billed, won't come in until March.
Okay.
Because we bill at the end of February, so the usage that we bill out in February is actually revenue that comes in March. So if we wait till the end of March, that would probably be a good inclination of, how close it was if you look at the revenue in March and the revenue in August.
But the numbers for August would essentially be the same as
For
what
you-
they.
For usage.
For
bill.
usage.
Yeah, so if you look at the water gallons billed in August, compared to February, that would be the same, but the revenue wouldn't be the same, because it doesn't, that revenue for February isn't due until March the 15th.
So,
So March would probably be a better,
and you would compare that number to September
to
since it's,
to September, is
Okay.
what you could do. Yep.
sounds good. No further questions.
Anybody else have any questions for Josh or about that report?
That's one of the reasons I've got the totals for that budget year in the far right-hand column, I think. That kind of gives you a better gauge of how we're doing for the year. And I think in the far right-hand column, it's also in red or black.
Right.
Sometimes the very next month, it's gonna catch up, just because the prior month's revenue, we didn't sell much water. Maybe it's August, the kids hadn't got it,
Right.
maybe it's December. So sometimes it's gonna do this until it kinda catches up and gets a little more consistent.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Philip.
Thank you, Mr. Abbott. All right, streets, public safety, Mr. Moss.
I'd like to report that Central Fire Department had 60 calls last month, and our code enforcement, Officer Ritchie, he handled 14 calls throughout the town, and Police Department had 2,595 stops this past month in February.
Great.
That's all I have to report, Mayor.
Any other questions for Mr. Moss? We are writing more tickets for speeding and vehicle, because we have a dedicated police officer now through a grant to do that. So if people say we don't do it, that's not correct. It's not correct. All right, enterprise and community engagement, Ms. Chapman.
Yes, for the month of February, the Water and Sewer Department completed 117 work orders. The meters were read on February 10th, and rechecks were done on the 11th. 67 customers were on the disconnection list for non-payment, and of those, 49 reconnected. The sanitation department, both residential and commercial, ran normal schedules for the month of February. And that is all I have.
Okay, any questions for Mrs. Chapman? Her report? Thank you. Recreation, Mr. Griffin.
Yes, sir. Basketball season is concluded with the 10 and under girls and 14 and under boys winning the Western District Championship. They played for the state championship this weekend, and they both teams won the state championship. I think they need to be congratulated.
We're gonna have them here next month so that we can properly congratulate those people.
Very good. Spring registration has concluded. We have 21 flag football teams, 27 baseball teams, and 5 girls softball teams. Our next Central Clemson Senior Bingo will be Thursday, March 26th at 11:30 at the Indoor Rec Center. We will have managers from regional Walmarts attending and sponsoring the event. The indoor recreation report will be sent separately. And that's all I have.
Any questions? Mr. Griffin, recreation report. We're doing stuff, people. That's a lot of teams. That's a lot of teams, thank you. Planning, Mr. Peak.
Thank you, Mayor. We will be conducting a joint Planning Commission council meeting on Thursday, March 12th, and Thursday, March 26th at 6 p.m. here at Town Hall. And this will be a public information gathering meeting in regards to the Unified Development Ordinance that Mr. Foreman has been rewriting or combining the zoning and the comprehensive plan together. And so we're near the point where this will be complete. And so we're just having these public information meetings to get the public's input as to what they think about this UDO ordinance.
Could you repeat those dates one more time?
March 12th, which will be this Thursday, and then March 26th at 6 o'clock here at Town Hall.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Also, one building permit was issued for both Eagle Creek subdivisions and the Springwood Grove subdivision. And
Okay.
that's my report.
Thank you. Again, March 12th, March 26th, 6 o'clock. Please let people know that. This is your chance. People have been saying we want to have input. We want to be able to see and know and make suggestions, and this is what that's for, so that we can have this, the best UDO that we can have. Thank you, sir.
Question.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor and Mr. Peak, I've been asked by a few residents about Springwood Grove and rumors to the effect that the development's been sold off to another developer. Do we have any information regarding that as to truth of the rumors? If
Yes.
it's something having to do with the
Mike-
shell games played by the companies?
Two Blue Stallions, and they sold the company to another company. But yes, it has been sold.
It has been sold.
Now, what's gonna happen after that? We don't know.
All right. There was a couple who were residents of that area and wondered what was gonna happen with that. And others were folks that were looking at houses and wondered how that was gonna affect it with the financing. They had already talked to
Yeah.
Great Southern Homes about and where it would go with the new company addressing it. And I said, I'll see what I can find out.
Yeah, we're not privy to it. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, like I tell y'all all the time, I believe half of what I hear and everything I see. So what you see, I would believe. So if you don't see any construction going on at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, then what I would tell you is it looks like that somebody's put it on hold, at least temporarily.
But he sold it.
Yeah,
Okay.
we do know they sold it, and they also sold Tarrant and Pepper Street,
Oh.
that piece of property too.
Okay.
So
And normally this time of the year, developers are in the tax season as well as individuals, and they start unloading properties just to lower their tax rates. So that could be part of the reason that those properties were unloaded.
I haven't been down there in a week or so. Have you been down there at Spring?
Yeah, I go by there at least once a day,
Okay.
just to see what's going on, what kind of garbage is strewn all over the place.
Are you seeing any activity?
Yeah, there's pads, there's tons of concrete pads pouring. I don't know if they poured as many as they could, had permits for, and
Yeah.
so they could finish those up. I don't know.
But you're not seeing any other activity like
They're building,
putting walls up and?
they're actively building,
Okay.
you know. That's why I was, when I heard people ask, I'm like, it's two blue stallions.
All right, any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Peak, thank you, Mr. Berry, for your questions. And now, for tourism, economic development, Mr. Berry.
I just want to go over some of the events coming up. As you know, this is getting into our busy season for spring and summertime events. Had a first Friday concert music event this past Friday with Soul Intent, and I was mad I couldn't attend because I was busy frying up Knights of Columbus fish fries, but it was standing room only from what I could tell as I came by afterwards, and a good crowd there. Next event at the depot is April 3rd with karaoke. And then right before that, we have the Easter egg hunt at the Central Heritage Museum on March 29th. Also on April 11th, the Unity in the Community, canned foods drive and entertainment from local churches. And that'll be from 10 to 2. But we look forward to everybody seeing that. We posted the schedule of events in the lobby, so it'll be there, anybody wants to look at it. The only other thing I have is the work that's moving forward as far as a combined America 250 and Central 150 celebrations on or around July the 4th this year, honoring our great country as well as our great little town of Central. That's all.
Great, any questions? Mr. Berry?
What type of events are we going to have for the 4th of July celebration?
Right now, we're looking at our 4th of July parade with the kids' floats that they do, as well as looking towards our Sesquicentennial Plus Park over by the old Helping Hands, if we can get that moving forward. I'll be meeting with the Main Street Director and Assistant Administrator Clore to go over other things we've got on the agenda for that day.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, any other questions? Thank you so much. All right, item number 7 is new business. There's no new business, old business. And we don't have any old business. Next is number 10, reports from the administrator and from the mayor. Mr. Administrator.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I did want to let you know that the development on 18 Mile Road, they're going to start laying water line on the side of 18 Mile Road, so there is going to be some activity over there. And I think they're going to start next week. So I've gotten with Jessica and Tom and told them to get it out on social media so we can let as many people know, kind of anticipate that. I don't think they're going to be out there very long, but they will be out there. Other item, Jeff Shacker, we discussed it in work session. We were going to get him to do an impact fee study and help us write a policy for the sale of sewer capacity. So I'm going to need y'all to direct me to get with Jeff Shacker and enter into an agreement with him to do those two things.
Okay. So we need to do that in the form of a motion so that we can, because it involves spending money to make money. So I make a motion that we authorize the town administrator to enter into a contract with Jeff Shacker for discussion of impact fee study and sewer and sale of sewer capacity
Second.
policy.
Second.
Any other questions or comments about that?
I think this is the right way to go. We know that we're helping support the city of Clemson, and we just need to make sure that new citizens, new businesses are having to pay their share of the infrastructure that they impact.
I agree.
Great. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor of authorizing the administrator to enter into a contract with Jeff Shacker to do impact fee study and a sell sewer capacity policy? If you're in favor of this, please raise your right hand. That's 7 yes, opposed, no, and that passes.
All right, thank you. Any questions for me? Okay, thank you.
Mayor's report, I just want to remind people, especially up here, that your economic filing has to be done by March 30th with the Ethics Commission, so please make sure you take care of that. And that's about all I have tonight, so we're getting into the evening. Item number 11 is executive session for South Carolina Code of Laws, Section 30-4-70A1, to discuss administrator's contract. The chair makes the motion that we adjourn into executive session according to South Carolina Code of Laws, Section 30-4-70A1, to discuss administrator's contract. Is there support?
Second.
All right. Any questions or comments? We will just share information, no votes or anything else will be taken. All those in favor of adjourning into executive session for South Carolina Code of Law, Section 30-4-70A1, to discuss administrator's contract. If you're in favor of that, would you please raise your right hand? That is 7 yeses. Any opposed? None. And so we are adjourned to go into executive session.
Yes, I got it.
He just wants you, That's what he does to me, doesn't he?